Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. I'm Joe Thorderson, here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Alan Gilbreth and Alyssa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And all of us were running late, so what we're going to do today, folks, is we're going to do all of our show prep here on the air with you live. I don't know. It can't be worse than...
It can't be any worse than our actual prepared shows. I mean...
So, you guys, what do you want to talk about? So, this is a little peek behind the curtains, folks. This is how we formulate the show. I have something I want to chime in on, but go ahead, Alan. What do you want?
Well, I'd like to welcome a new country to the Geek Patrol family.
Okay.
We've picked up a 1% following in Norway.
Wow.
Well, now,
Hey.
Just throwing out there, Norwegians have caught on.
I'm a big fan of Norway.
Well,
Yeah.
you know,
One of my favorite deadliest catch captains is Norwegian.
Oh, see, there you go.
Nice.
Norwegians are tough, man.
They're
You got to be
cool.
tough to live up there.
Well, you know, we're kind of big in Australia. New Zealand has always followed us. Canada, of course. But, you know, I was looking at the demographics this week, and the show is listened to by almost 80% women.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I find it really weird that mostly the show is somewhere in the 35 to 45 age group. But we had
Right.
one show about 3 weeks ago. 80% of the people listened were over the age of 65.
Well, I have a question for you, Alan. Is it that mature women are listening to us rattle on about pop culture, or are they turning us on to make their kids be quiet while they're doing something important?
I
that's
like
so
to think
fair.
that because I hate to think that that's, you know.
I mean,
I
hey,
think it
I
is
don't care.
B, all
Just
of the above.
husbands using their wives' accounts.
I don't care. I don't care who's listening and how they're listening, as long as people are listening.
Okay.
Yeah.
So welcome to Norway.
Wow.
Guys, tell some friends. Allie wants to visit.
Yeah, I would love to come to Norway, please.
Allie will do
I
a
will
live
do
appearance.
anything.
Okay.
Well, see, I'm
I'll
right.
sign autographs.
And see, I'm trying to get to New Zealand. Alyssa, you're trying to get to Norway.
Yeah, let's
All right,
go.
so Alan's-
Geek Tank takes Europe. Let's go.
Oh, that would be a bizarre tour.
I think we'd have so much fun.
Who would invite? All right, here's an idea, Brandon. Who would invite you for live appearances?
Rick Steves.
So many people in Europe.
Nobody.
Who would invite you? No, seriously.
Nobody.
Who do you think?
I'm feral and they can't afford me.
Let's go to the
Okay.
the
Joe, you have
the place
family
where
in
they murdered
Iceland.
all those people.
Yeah. All right, this isn't
The
show
Ripper.
prep anymore.
Jack
This is
the
a
Ripper.
shameless plug. Okay. My
We'll throw a
conversational suggestion was going to be, now all of us are caught up on Daredevil, I keep forgetting the name of the fourth season.
Born Again.
Born Again. Okay.
You know, just
and-
like Frank Miller's Daredevil, Born Again.
And there will be spoilers involved in the
that?
conversation, folks. So,
Yeah,
I mean-
somebody got beat up.
yeah. That's that. And then, of course, we have a Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention update, which
Do we?
should we get that shameless plug
Yeah,
out of the way?
let's get out of the way.
Yeah.
We're already being shameless as it is.
Okay, so we announced our dates. You know, if you're not familiar with the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention, I should say it's a lot of fun. And our annual celebration is going to be our 15th annual. And this year we're going to be back at the University of Memphis Holiday Inn, which is a really cool facility for us. We only locked in the dates about a week ago because we can't do our dates until we know the football schedule.
We have to wait for the University of Memphis Tiger football schedule because we will be on an alternating weekend from a home game.
Right. When they're at home, they stay at the hotel.
Right. Because
So-
that's the perfect place for them to map out all their plays, get everything prepared, because they have an amazing classroom set up on the top floor of the hotel.
Yeah, and So, so here's the thing, you guys. So I put it out there
Right.
last week. We opened it up for vendor booths and for artist booths. If somebody wants to be an exhibitor at the convention, well, we're just about sold out of artist booths in the course of a week.
Yeah, we've got like
I don't
three
know that
left.
that's ever happened.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, that's exciting.
And I mean, hey, guys.
So yeah,
that-
if you're an artist, you better get a booth now because literally, I think we
Right.
have about 3 or 4 left, and that's
it's like
it.
afterwards
So-
you got to buy the vendor tables.
Yeah, because the vendor booths are a little more, they're a little bigger, but and those are selling too. So last year we were completely sold out by May. which that's 6 months ahead of
and
our
again,
event. That's a lot.
That wasn't far into May. We made it a week into May when we sold our last booth.
Right. And next week, of course, we're all going to be over at Mid-South Con. Alan, did they rope you into anything? Because I saw you talking to Denise last week. Alan's been to every Mid-South Con except one. We're talking 40.
Yeah,
Mid-South
30. I've
Con.
been to 39 Mid-South Cons, and I was informed that if I thought I was getting out of another one, give that idea up. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Check it out. It's going to be at the Whispering Woods Hotel over in, it's Convention Center, whatever they call it. But it's the Whispering Woods in Olive Branch. You just go down Hacks Cross Road.
It's on Hacks Cross.
Till you get there. And the good thing about the
Go to
Whispering
your Google
Woods,
Maps and you put it in and you follow the directions.
Yep.
the nice thing about that is there is a lot of places to eat that literally are a block away. You can park and then just eat. That's a big deal. Let's face it, that's a big deal when you're going
It's
to an
10
event.
minutes from my house. I can go home and eat.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay. Yeah. So that'll be fun, and we'll be set up, and we'll be giving things out, and we may even have ticket specials. We generally do,
We tend to.
and so there'll be a lot there. There'll be a lot going on. So now let's just tee this up. So when we come back, we're going to talk about Daredevil, right? Born Again.
I mean, we can.
Spoiler heavy. Wait, Alyssa, are you?
You can spoil it. I've never seen a single episode of Daredevil.
What?
I know.
I am so proud of you.
What is wrong with you?
You know.
What? Why not? I'm just
I don't
curious.
know. I just never watched
Because
it.
there are seasons of Great British Baking Show.
Yeah, I have Housewives to watch.
Alyssa, I'm sort of stunned because even my wife watches the show, and she
don't doubt that it's great. I never watched it, and then I just never watched it. Now it's season 4, so I got a lot to catch up on, I guess.
All right. Well, Max, are you caught up? I think you've been.
I'm kind of also oblivious to it, but I don't really care. Just go ahead.
I think it's ironic that the youngest people here aren't interested in this. Is there something we're missing here? Because
Yes. It's called Lives.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just.
No.
My wife and
can't
I,
claim
this
that.
is we've been watching this, and then we've been going back and rewatching season 3, and she loves that one. That's a really good one. Season 2, I don't know so much, but either way, when we come back, it's going to be a spoiler-heavy discussion about Daredevil: Born Again.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. Tom Servo is their spirit droid. The Geek Patrol is back.
Yours.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Alan Gilbreth and Alyssa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, we're unpacking the show as we go. We did our show prep a little late, so as we get ideas, we're just throwing them into the hopper. In a minute, we're going to talk about Daredevil: Born Again, and it's going to be a spoiler-heavy discussion. We're up to episode 3 of the new Daredevil show, but later in the show, you guys, I want to talk about this Jack Kirby documentary that is in the works, because Jack Kirby,
You're the only one in this room that cares.
if you don't care.
I don't care. I am so tired of the drama between comic creators. I can appreciate them without having to worry about all that other garbage.
See, that's what I was not interested in. I'm not interested in the drama.
But that's what you're going to get in that documentary. They're going to talk about how Stan Lee stole ideas and how they, basically ran him into the poorhouse. And it sucks. But that's how I feel about every comic documentary. Is they talk about how the comic industry destroyed these people.
Huh. Okay. I was more interested.
Give me something good like that, that Led Zeppelin documentary.
That one was great, yeah. But I'm more interested in Jack Kirby's art style, because technically his art is not good, but it's awesome. Let's just say it right now. Jack Kirby's art is weird, but it's great.
But there's something about it that just grips you. His art is amazing, but not from an artistic standpoint.
Right.
There's something visceral about it.
Yeah.
It's and despite how simple it seems, you can see the passion in it.
Yeah, and you talk about an influential artist for. Anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about. I wasn't all hung up on the controversy, but let's shift gears. Let's talk about Daredevil: Born Again. We're up to episode 3, and so Brandon, you're caught up, man.
Dude,
and
yeah,
I'm loving it so far.
I am really. I like Matt's dynamic. I like him and Jerry, and and I like the whole situation where Jerry knows who he is, and he knows why he knows that the guy's still, because he's representing White Tiger at a murder trial right now.
Yeah.
And all that's great, but do you know that my favorite part is genuinely watching the machinations of Kingpin, whether he's trying to be a better man or not? It's
right. He's trying to,
Hey, it's happened before, where there's plenty of villains who try their best, and then when so many people continue to reference them as the Kingpin instead of Mayor Fisk, or their wife who they adore is like, I don't want to lose everything. I would rather us be this than in the limelight. There's only one thing to do, and that's to go back. And when it does, he ends up taking out everybody. So I'm loving watching Fisk go through the machinations on that, and Matt wanting to go back to being Daredevil, but doing what he promised he was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And
how many times has he quit though?
I'm
not going to be Daredevil.
The only person who's quit being their superhero identity more than Daredevil is friggin' Peter Parker.
Yeah. But well, that was the thing. So it's like this season has sort of a fresh start appeal. Although, okay, what's with getting rid of Foggy? Foggy made it's like, oh boy, Foggy's back.
Do you want to?
He made it 10 minutes into the first episode.
Do you want to hear something awesome?
Yeah.
All right, so there is a storyline in the comics where Foggy's death is faked by Vanessa, and Matt, while fighting a villain while Foggy is dying, hears the heartbeat stop, hears Foggy die, and later on you find out that Vanessa has had Foggy locked up, and eventually Matt finds him, and it's a giant surprise because he is shocked when it happens.
What?
I'm not kidding.
I don't think they faked it here. He looked pretty dead to me.
You know how they faked it in the comics?
How?
They blew a hole through his chest and he bled out.
Really? So you're thinking this is a nod
and
to the comics?
somebody online pointed this out. I didn't notice this myself. When they are leaving Nelson, Murdoch, and Page at the beginning, they pass by a sign that has a number on it. That number is the same comic where Foggy died.
Really?
Yeah. So I would not be a bit surprised.
Because I thought, okay, maybe they couldn't lock down a contract, so they said, okay, you guys need to do at least one episode so we can kill you off.
What else is Eldon Henson doing right now?
I don't know. He's great though.
He's an amazing. I like him, but as much as I love him as Foggy, he'll always be the over testosterone kid from Mighty Ducks.
Don't remember that movie, so I don't think I watched that one.
That's okay. It's a little outside your age range. It's not Captain Underpants.
But okay, so
but getting back to Daredevil.
So Alan, I know you love Vincent D'Onofrio's performance. Now, the one thing every episode we keep seeing his knuckles are bloody.
Mm-hmm.
He's the mayor. Why are his knuckles bloody? I mean, where is he going? And we know he has a basement lair under his apartment. So,
and there's a recurring conversation between him and Matt about their darker sides. When you have
managing a violent nature.
When you are managing a violent nature. So we're going to get hinted repeatedly, and you're going to be given these little roadmap signs as the series progresses. And basically, we're just waiting on, I'm going to call it the Thanos moment. We're waiting on the moment when something bigger and badder than Fisk appears, and they all have to work together horribly begrudgingly.
Yeah.
Or we reach the point where
that's
Fisk,
a different show.
Yeah, you
said Andor.
I did. That's another one coming. And Fisk finally becomes his true nature, because he is very measured right now and very controlled. And I don't know if you watch superhero shows or not. If you don't watch them, all right, this is a violent show. I mean, if you like any war movies or something like that, I'm going to say this is no longer a superhero show.
No.
This is a drama. This is a hardcore drama that just so happens to have superhero characters in it.
Yeah, and it's even going to get into complex marital relations, and we'll talk about that when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
And I, for one, welcome our new insect overlords. I'd like to remind them that as a trusted TV personality, I can be helpful in rounding up others to toil in their underground sugar caves.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Alan Gilbreth and Alyssa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, be prepared. We're having a spoiler-heavy discussion about Daredevil: Born Again, the new series on Disney Plus, and we're up to episode 3. And one thing I will say about the series that I'm happy about is they've really kept the same texture as the original series on Netflix. It's multi-layered, but it's not convoluted as far as you can follow the story. You know how that sometimes you fall into that trap. There's all these overlapping themes, and then you lose track of everything.
Yeah.
You can follow this story.
One of the other shows I'm watching right now is Grosse Pointe Garden Society. And it keeps jumping back and
I
forth.
almost started that, but I haven't yet.
It keeps jumping
What?
back and forth with the timeline.
Yeah.
So if you don't catch it, and it's done really cool. So like, the graphic telling you 6 months later or 3 weeks earlier and stuff, it's built into the to the scenery.
Yes.
So if you miss it, you're just like, wait, huh?
Oh, that's
what?
cool.
It's so cool.
That is cool.
In fact, Amy and I were watching episode 4. No, it's episode 3 before I came up here to the studio, which is why I was running late. I had to finish the show.
Interesting. Okay.
Now, and that one is, again, it's not mindless entertainment, but it's entertainment that doesn't really matter.
Right.
But you do get involved.
Yeah.
It's all right. In that one, it's just, you just want to know what the next twist is.
Well, hey, I'm only there to find out who shot Molly.
Yep.
And Molly's the dog.
And it's going to be like a Who Shot JR.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's going to go on for a while.
All right. Well, hey, now getting back to Daredevil: Born Again, among other things that's going on. Okay. Well, I got a couple questions here on my checklist.
Okay.
Brandon, I do want to ask you about White Tiger. However, we know that Wilson Fisk always has an agenda for what he does.
Yeah.
And so, as far as I can tell, he signed up for marital counseling.
Yeah.
It wasn't the wife. It wasn't
Right.
Vanessa. He tries to look very humble, and he looks, I just don't want to lose my wife. But if I know that guy, he's just trying to get information, and this is a good way to find out things from Vanessa, because she apparently, while he was gone, met somebody else. And
Well,
she's not, yeah.
He was one of Kingpin's underlings who was working basically as her right-hand muscle.
Yeah. And she said, please don't kill him.
Yeah.
We know that's
And
that's not going to happen.
She thinks that what Wilson is doing now with basically letting everything else fall apart around them while he runs for mayor, or he is the mayor. She thinks that he's doing that to punish her for her indiscretion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so there's a lot going on, and I think he's going to get information out of her through those sessions.
Oh, I'm sure of it. Because as much as he loves her, he doesn't trust her at all.
Right. I don't know that he even loves her anymore. I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to kill her off.
He does. If he didn't, he wouldn't punish her the way he's doing it.
Okay.
He would have just sent her on her merry way and then sent Bullseye after all of them.
See, I'm trying to get Alyssa interested in this show. So, Alyssa, we got complex relationships.
I'm seeing it.
I know you don't.
see the vision.
Oh.
Okay.
And here's one for you too. Matt Murdock, Daredevil, is currently dating a therapist
Right.
who is the marriage counselor for Kingpin and his wife.
Oh, interesting. So he's gonna get all the hot goss from her.
Exactly, and then he's
Cute.
going to have to. She's bound by ethics
Yeah.
to not talk about it. But
Yeah.
let's
But
face
she's
it.
gonna talk about
right.
it. She's
Meanwhile-
gonna reveal it all on camera.
While she was on she was doing a book signing. This kid comes up to her and he thanks her for the book. She signs it and he goes, "I really need help. Are you taking on new clients?" And she's like, "I can always move something around." She gives him either that or the super just smarmy dude who was in line with it. One of those is Muse, who is a super villain vigilante type character, Allie, that you would love.
I'm wondering
like
who
it.
that kid was. Because
Yeah.
we say kid, he
Interesting.
looked like he was probably 23 or 24 years old.
He's like
a
early
young
20s.
A whippersnapper.
I mean, he's even someone you'd call a kid. He's so much your junior.
Yeah, so we have that. There's a lot in here, Alyssa, and now another character that's in there is White Tiger, which Brandon.
Yeah.
Okay, I know we're going for gritty street level, realism here on the show, but this guy has an amulet of power that they make reference to.
Except for we're not going for that so much anymore. It's definitely street level as far as Matt and everything.
Yeah,
but we already know that the reason why Bullseye survived the being thrown off the building is because he has metal grafted to his skeleton, and we know that the Hand can resurrect Elektra at any point that they want to, which will probably happen in the second season of this, which I don't want it to happen.
I hope not.
But so I mean we've left the moment that he showed up in Spider-Man Far From Home. The idea of Daredevil not having any of the superhero elements went out the window.
Okay.
So White Tiger, he has a tiger-based totem. So of course he draws on his strength and everything from that. So agility, super strength, super tough, kind of deal. Spoiler alert! Apparently, it doesn't stop a bullet to the head.
Yeah,
But-
well, exactly, because at the end of it, he gets shot by somebody in a Punisher T-shirt, which we don't see his face, so it's like, okay, it wasn't Frank.
I've
or-
watched it a couple of times. It is definitely a smeared Punisher-esque skull on a flak jacket. And
Okay.
it's a very police issue style SWAT jacket.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, because all the corrupt cops on this show have Punisher tattoos.
Right, and we've
Well,
already
why is that?
Well, they think that he's right and everything, and they think that they're doing the correct thing by getting rid of the criminals at a visceral level. And of course, that usually just ends up drawing on the ire of the Punisher, and he starts to target you. Because the Punisher don't like cops, and he definitely don't like cops who do what they do in his name.
Yeah,
And
that's what I'm wondering.
and
It seems like
it's been so reiterated in the comics that that Punisher skull, if you take it up as your symbol, you basically make yourself a target of him.
yeah, because there's graffiti everywhere. They're showing the and it says triggered.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so what does that mean? Like, I don't know. It's cool though, and there
That's
are a
what
lot
it
of
means.
there are a lot of things that are similar to things we're living through today in the show. But it's outstanding, folks. I would definitely check it out and go back and watch some of the back episodes of Daredevil as well.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
Anyhow, you'll have to wait. The kids are busy right now.
Oh, is the organ harvesting clown here?
Nah, Rusty comes on Tuesdays now.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Alan Gilbreth and Alyssa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, we were talking a little bit about Daredevil season 4. Well, I'm calling it season 4, but it's actually a new season called Born Again. We gave you a Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention update. We probably, I guess, will skip our Jack Kirby documentary conversation because nobody cares about it except me.
Right.
But it is St. Patrick's Day weekend, and I'm half Irish. My mother was born in Tipperary, and Max, you're ruining my childhood because you said there's a lot of facts about St. Patrick's Day that maybe me and a lot of other people have gotten wrong.
Well, for example, St. Patrick's Day doesn't have a lot of its festivities don't have its roots in Ireland. Back in the day in Ireland, it was a very quaint and sort of loving occasion where you spent the day at church in quiet prayer. Well, the same thing with St. Valentine's Day. It got ruined by when Irish immigrants came to America because they wanted to organize parades and other events as a show of their pride. And this evolved into a secular ode to Irish culture, which included parties, music, and iconic foods.
Wait, so okay.
Seriously,
It's kind of like Christmas back in the day was
it
was a smaller holiday. It was like Thanksgiving or something,
It's quite literally, it's like, thank the Lord that the pagans are gone. You gathered with your people. You did your thing. You don't need. And the great thing about celebrating a cultural holiday in that country is that it's just a Tuesday to them. Well, technically a Monday this year, but
really,
yeah.
That's interesting. So it was a bigger deal once they got out of their country.
Yeah, but my favorite day was yesterday.
What's that?
314. It's Pie Day.
Oh, big deal.
Hey, I went and had pie. I don't know
Okay.
about the rest of y'all. I went and had pie.
Okay, so Max, what are some other things that maybe people don't know about?
Breaking the illusion, Alan.
Well,
Yeah.
not only that, but like you don't have to worry about getting pinched if you were an ancient celebrator of St. Patrick's Day because of the fact that green has not always been associated with the holiday itself. In fact, the first symbols of it were a gold harp on a blue background. It was only after the 17th century when the color was adopted as for the purpose of Irish independence, and they used that color to support their cause.
Huh. Now, when you go to Ireland, which I've actually been there, it is green is everywhere. I mean, it's just natural that you think of green. Green is on their flag and everything, so I'm surprised by that. But
Kind of like how the French flag hasn't always been the red, white, and blue symbol.
now, my mom was born in Tipperary, and one thing I remember specifically is when it came to like celebrating St. Patrick's Day, if you showed her a 4-leaf clover, she didn't like that. She said, "No, it's the shamrock," which is a different
It's a different thing all together. Yeah.
She got really ticked off about it, though. I'm like, okay, Mom, take it.
The one thing I learned.
That's a whole nother plant?
So
There are 2 plants.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
so while the majority of my family's origins are from Wales, we have an Irish offshoot, and up in Pittston, Pennsylvania, there's a large, population of Irish Olmsted relatives, and yeah, that's one of the things I learned from them.
yeah.
And it's like, but I also learned that the most dangerous thing you could ever do is be a good Southern boy in the middle of the kitchen as an Irish grandmother and an Italian aunt fought.
Oh, yeah. Feisty
But the
temper,
food was
so-
amazing.
Yeah. And it's funny, you meet a lot of Italian people that marry Irish people.
Yeah.
I mean, they tend to, I don't know what, they tend to meet and get married.
I mean, I guess I'm a Welshman that married an Italian because I was smart.
She's a good woman.
What else, Max? So-
Well, this sounds like the beginning of the story of Vinland Saga in terms of Patrick's actual origins. He wasn't actually Irish. He was born, it's sort of up for debate, but he was definitely not born in Ireland, because he had sort of like Roman ancestry. And so according to one narrative, when he was 16, he got enslaved by Irish raiders who attacked his home, and he was held captive for 6 years. That pretty much sounds like Vinland Saga, except for a shorter time.
Yeah. Now, I did know that. I'm pretty well versed in the history of St. Patrick. But one thing, gosh, years ago, folks, this is a reason to go back and listen to all the archives of Geek Tank Radio. 10 years ago, in our Conspiracy Nation, we did a full thing. At least I did, me and Brody. But it was all about the conspiracy of driving the snakes out of Ireland. And I said there was a big conspiracy between that and Australia. And you guys didn't like it, but there were no snakes, right? That was a metaphor.
It was a metaphor, like you said, for driving out paganism from Ireland himself, because, he was a Christian missionary. But,
Right.
Also it would be kind of inhospitable for them. I wanted to end with a misconception for Alan that's related to food.
Oh no.
Corned
boy.
beef is not a classic St. Patrick's Day dish. It's in fact, because in fact in Ireland, the way they celebrate is with a very special type of bacon that's similar to ham. Alan, take it away.
I didn't know that.
Yes, welcome to the Irish version of prosciutto.
Ooh.
And also, potatoes are not from Ireland.
Nope.
They are from Peru.
Really? But that's what their staple is. What were they
Well,
eating
that
before that?
became their staple, and
Okay.
thus led to the Great Potato Famine, because potatoes grew really well in Ireland,
And then they didn't.
and then they accidentally imported a potato disease with the next round of potatoes and
That makes me
began wiping themselves out.
That makes me think a bit of kudzu, where it's like rather than it being a burden, it was actually a blessing for the people of Ireland.
Okay. I don't know, but I mean, you can't argue with the, let's see, what about the Irish temper that we always hear about? I sure saw that in my, you can get some, I remember my grandfather and my mom, you can tick them off.
I'm thinking as a child, you knew the proper buttons to press. So
Right.
I'm going to.
passion, though, because then they could just as easily
That
just
is
be real
every
excited.
ethnic group in the world. When you think about your grandma, your grandpa,
Yeah.
they got passionate about something no matter where they were from.
Right. All right. Well, this will be interesting, and I guess we're on brand because Daredevil, Matt Murdock is Irish, so and he's even got red hair. So I guess it's appropriate to binge.
He should be
Daredevil
wearing
this
green
weekend. So, all right, whatever
gonna get
you're going to
pinched.
do, yeah, whatever you're doing, be safe and don't be stupid when you're out celebrating St. Patrick's Day. But you guys, it's time to get out of here. The show's already over. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Alan Gilbreth.
I'm Maximilian.
I'm Melissa Diggs.
And I'm Brandon Olmstead, promising you we'll look into getting a script before next week.